Hello, hello. Ahoy! Go,
Ahoy! Just ahoy. What's up?
Hey, Nutmeg, he owes me 100 hex. He said, I bet 100 hex. Litecoin won't be on time. I said, I'll take that bet.
That's a big fucking bet in 5 years, bro. That's a huge amount.
Take that for Quattro Cinco and see what that turns into.
I know, right? Shit, you'd be happy, man. You bet you bet on Moses, man. You bet on Jesus.
So
house always wins, man.
Yeah, that's right. Well, buddy, how was your day today?
Stressful.
Yeah, you and me both.
Stressful.
I am so glad I'm doing this instead of my day job right now. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I'm dealing with a lot of little business things. That's getting all piled up into one. You know, it's turning into a clusterfuck. But I'd rather have these problems than not have them. You know.
I know. I'm torn.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I'm like, part of me just wants to say I'm done. Throw my hands up. I got other ventures I want to go explore. Right. But right now that is the majority of the income. So the passive income isn't great enough yet until my hex stakes start expiring. And I'll probably never stop building businesses. I really enjoy it.
Yeah,
I really enjoy it.
I keep finding myself in new businesses every fucking year without I'm not even trying. It's just it just happens, man. Dude, damn, man.
Well, it's funny. It's the law of attraction, man. It really does work. It does work that way. And when people see that you're a motivated individual and that you built something for yourself, they want you on their team. And so there's a lot of people that will just kind of naturally, dude, I get hit up by MLM people all the time. And I'm like, no. I've been there, done that in my 20s. I'm done with that. So,
yeah.
So, like I said, though, it's a law of attraction. If it's something that you're interested in, something you're good at, people will notice and they'll be bringing you more opportunity.
I am not as old as some of the people in the crypto, some of the people in the hex sphere and stuff, but like you always want ownership.
Yeah.
Long term.
Yep.
You don't make. I don't know. I mean, again, maybe if you're working, you're a high end employee at a really big company, sure, you make some money. But typically, if you're just like a run of the mill employee, man, you need ownership, man.
Yep.
To make any money.
That's where the real money is at, especially if they ever sell it later.
Exactly.
It's nice to have that piece that you get paid out to when they do sell it. So absolutely, and not this faux profit sharing. The longer you're here, what the hell are you watching?
Is that fucking Carol Basket?
It said Tiger King in the background a minute ago.
What the fuck? I recognize that fucking bitch anywhere.
Monetization strike.
So this is how you actually watch Netflix without paying for it, you guys.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, man, glad to have you on here. We're just gonna riff tonight a little bit. We're gonna take Adrian Ison's advice from his video today, and we're just gonna have fun with Hex. We're just gonna relax and let people see how calm and relaxed we are enjoying ourselves with Hex. And you know what I'm even gonna do? I'm gonna throw this up in case anybody wants to come in. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a StreamYard link.
Woo! Enter the Thunderdome.
The Thunderdome.
That movie.
I gotta check that movie out again. I gotta check it out again. Is it like that good? Is it like Escape from LA or whatever it is?
No, it's just I got spoiled by watching the remake. It was one of the few times where the new Mad Max is so much better than the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but some people, because they grew up on it, they love those old Mad Max. But Can't compare, man.
Dude, the first one sucked. I just watched it again not too long ago, and I was like, man, this is horrible. It wasn't any. It didn't have any really futuristic elements at all, for which I was like expecting. Okay, it's the future, apocalyptic time. Like, nope, not at all. So they went that direction more with number
really
2.
Weird. The costumes are really weird, like tacky weird. But oh well, man. I mean, Back to the Futures. Always recommend those. Those are amazing.
I don't think you can go wrong with at least number 2. Going back into the 50s was all right, but going into the future, that was way cooler in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh wait, Mad Max was made on a shoestring. Yeah, I can believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, they had a lot of costumes, man. That was they put that thing was probably razor thin at the end right there with the budget.
Yeah, but probably Enterprise or Hertz Rent-A-Cars is what they're filming it with.
But sometimes you really do got to judge movies sort of on a curve, or sort of depending on their time frame or when they were launched. Like Gone with the Wind still pretty good. If you compare it to like it's at the time, it's really long though. Yeah,
I'll give you credit there. It's if with inflation adjusted. Granted, it didn't have a lot of competitors. It is the highest grossing movie of all time. Still today. Yeah. Forget that it takes like 3 Star Wars movies with inflation adjusted, because obviously back then it was 5 cents to watch the movie. But when everyone and their mom went and watched, and it was the only thing on the theater for freaking 6 months. Did really well.
If I remember right, Titanic was probably the closest, I think, and then
was Avatar.
Titanic, then Avatar, I think.
Avatar was big, man.
Yeah,
I remember they're supposed to come out with a new one this year, or next year. Actually,
it got postponed because of the whole thing. Yeah, but they got special privileges to film in New Zealand.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did.
It's only 10 years late, but hey, what better late than never?
Right. It doesn't feel like 10 years. I feel like I watched it like 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's because you're like 19.
Yeah. Oh, no. 17, man. What are you talking about?
You told me 19 last time.
Sorry.
20, I think, is what you told me.
Yeah, Avatar's great. One last thing.
Rank number 1 is Gone with the Wind from year 1939. Okay. Number 2 is Avatar, 2009. Really? Okay. Yep. Number 3 is Titanic. Yeah. And number 4 is Star Wars, the original 1977. Wow. Adjusted for inflation.
Yeah. Okay, I believe that. That's totally true.
Yeah, I just watched Avatar again recently.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of Pacific Rim is a really fucking good movie. If you guys I like it, man. Dude, if you want a monster flick, like a robot monster flick, it's top tier, bro. But like the second one's trash.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's not that good. But the Godzilla movies, the new one with was it King Ghidorah? Mm-hmm. That one was pretty good too. Like the Godzilla movies are all the new ones.
The newest one I think was the best. In my opinion, of the ones that I've seen. Hey, so Crypto Learner, if you know how to get a hold of Adrian Eisen, go ahead and give him my StreamYard link, man. I'll post it in Twitter if I have to. But Aquaman 2 is gonna be sick.
Aquaman 2.
I remember when back in the days, what was the name? Entourage. I used to love that show long before I was married. And Aquaman was the character that he played. And I thought, that's great. They picked, like a real comic book character that they'll never do a movie of. And then they actually do a movie of it. I was like, well, there I am proven wrong. But hey, it was pretty good.
Jason Momoa and stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm. It actually turned out really good.
Yeah, but it's rough. That character's rough, dude. There's like you're pulling at string. I mean, I don't know.
There's I guess you could say there's more fluid storylines for Marvel characters. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Yeah, I do like that whole the little. It's not a conspiracy theory, but it's sort of like there's like the Disney theory that all the movies are linked together in different timelines or whatever. And it's pretty interesting. What you go on YouTube, you guys, after the stream or whatever, you guys are just curious and stuff. Like all the movies are linked and stuff. So the movie on Monsters Inc.
Mm-hmm.
Well, supposedly that's Boo or whatever, that's like the crazy witch lady from I think not Tangled, but what was it? Maybe Tangled. She's like some crazy witch lady and stuff because like there's pictures in the thing or whatever. But supposedly she goes crazy and tries to find him again as she gets older and stuff and gets into dark magic and then teleports herself to other. It's fucking dude.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's very yeah. It's pretty crazy,
dude. I'll tell you what. Some of the most fun YouTube channels that I've ever gotten into are some of the movie theory. Movie theory.
Yeah,
they're kind of fun. Oh, sorry, Escatar. He is so right. Sorry. Aquaman is DC. I tainted Marvel.
Yep.
I apologize. That was a noob mistake. I should have known better. I actually grew up reading comic books, and Aquaman is not one that I ever read. I loved the X-Men's and I loved all the Marvel Universe, but I never a lot of Spider-Man, but never really did much on the DC side except for like the death of Batman against Bane.
You know what really pisses me off about Spider-Man? I know we eventually get to Hex, after 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But the thing that really pisses me off about Spider-Man for the longest time is they kept fucking rebooting it every 10 years. It just got me to the point I'm like, like Uncle Ben, Mary Jane, this person, that person, the Goblin. Like, come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I at least like now how they're making they're making more movies now, which is like
good. And you realize what happened, right? Because Disney bought Marvel rights quite a while back, but Marvel had sold the Spider-Man rights to Fox Entertainment for the first series, for the first one with Toby, what's his name?
Maguire.
Toby Soyboy. And so with the new reboot and tying it into the Marvel universe, it's Disney that has control of it, and I think they've done a much better job already with it.
Dude, I think I remember Toby Maguire. What the hell is it?
No, it's Toby Soyboy.
Toby Soyboy. Well, he used to not be a soy boy because he was a part of something called the Pussy Hounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, him. It was a bunch of A-list stars that were just fucking banging chicks everywhere, dude. Like they literally have tats of like these bloodhounds on their ankles and stuff. It's like him and what the hell is the name of that guy? The main actor from Titanic. What's his name?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio was a part of the group, and then so was like a couple other guys, and they would just go around to clubs just banging bitches everywhere. Yeah, which is really funny. Yeah, but
I'm looking at the.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the comments here. And no, I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Shout out to live streamers. We got 127 live viewers right now.
This is the highest I've seen since I've been hosting. I don't know if I've ever seen higher than that. But thank you guys for. There you go. After last night, you're done, huh?
No, man, no, dude. Look at this shit. I killed. It was up to here, bro. Like I killed all this. Dude, I woke up like little special ed.
Yeah. Did you ever see Molly's game?
No.
Because Toby Maguire, I've heard that too. Actually, in Molly was on Valuetainment talking about how she ran some of the highest stakes illegal poker games across the United States, New York, and LA, and Toby Maguire is player X in that game or in that movie. And she admitted to it. She said, yeah, player X is Toby Maguire. And you can kind of tell by just the way they portray him in Molly's game. And he was one of those, always tried to control the table, always trying to get in everybody's psyches in their mind, shit talker. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But Escatar's right. The captain's going to get mad at us if we don't start talking some hex. So, yeah, high hex stakes poker.
No, definitely. But, yeah. Well, do you know one reason why I always mention Back to the Future is because you've seen the third movie, right?
Uh-huh.
So in the third movie, you know how they're on the train track and they're throwing in these fire logs or whatever to make the train go faster. But that's what I call kind of the explosions, essentially, where you get when cryptocurrencies get listings for the first times, it's like bam, the nitrous, the nether nitrous,
that boom log,
the boom log, right? So I
Yeah.
when I look at a cryptocurrency, when I'm actually for the first time, I try to figure out like what are the big explosions to not just trade on, but also just like speculate on if you want to speculate and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this one has a lot of them, or this one's most of them are played out now, so it's just basically on the team and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. Hex has a lot of logs.
Yes, it does.
It a fuck ton. Like literally, it hasn't used anything. Like, yeah. It's like it has all this built up. It's like a spring. You have all these springs of like you know the classics so people understand, like when Coinbase, when KuCoin, when this, when that. You know, like when or like when credit card, when I don't know. But there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been made yet for Hex that eventually will. That are these catapults.
Yeah.
Not just for price action, but just for more users as well.
Well, it's so beautiful the way the system's designed and the game theory behind it, and then having people like Steph and Firebun creating on top of it with something legit, with an actual service, like a financial service, essentially, is what they're going to be offering through Staker app. Like, that is beautiful.
Yeah, shout out to Steph, dude. He was like throwing $1,000 at what's his name? Oh my god, that YouTuber, the little string, you know, what the hell is that dude's name?
Who was it? Yeah, I heard he was on
Ivan on Tech. Ivan on Tech.
Was it on Ivan's stream?
Yeah, he donated $1,000 to Ivan. It was like Hex is the best cryptocurrency or something, and then he was like, "Damn, these Hex boys out here making money, man!" Like, wow.
That's right. That's right. I love
these
it.
Hex whales. There's new whales in the chats now, and he donated twice, 2,000 twice.
Steph made it rain on Ivan, Cabana says. Yep.
Yep.
Ivan on Tech, Ivan on Tech, Ivan on Tech. They all threw it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let someone else in the chat answer your question there.
Crazy.
Typed emotion. Steph
Yeah,
went crazy.
Yeah.
When not only talk Hex, let's talk hearts. Hey, I can't wait till hearts are
that's making me
a denomination in USD. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yeah, dude.
Of course, it'd be fantastic.
Oh my god, man, that makes me sweat, dude. Thinking about that. Oh my god, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, can you imagine the talks and stuff in like 20 years or something? Like, I just staked 1,000 Hex. Damn, dude. Holy shit. Yeah. That's a good amount. How many?
I know.
For a year? No, 555. Dude, what?
I don't think people understand. You and I have beat this dead horse over and over again. Yeah. But the emergency end stakes, when the price appreciates enough, people are gonna be at 50% end stake, and it's gonna be hard not to. When you got a $250,000 Hex stake and it's worth $2 a Hex, it's gonna be hard not to say, I could have all of that principal back. And I don't think people understand, like, that's when, if someone's staked far enough out, that's hundreds of thousands of Hex being paid out per stake. On this, and these are pretty small stakes compared to like what whales are doing. I mean, you see some of these stakes, some of these whales are, 20, 50, 75, 125 million. And granted, they're only doing it for a week at a time, but
I got some crazy math for you if you want to hear it. Like, this so this is kind of the inflation rate with Hex. Just, I'm basing this off of 700 billion, right? After big payday, right? I think after 10 years, I could be off a little bit because I'm rounding up a bit. It's basically half the supply. So there's going to be 350 billion more Hex. So we're going to be a little over $1 trillion, I think, in total. That's after 10 years from big payday. 10 years
with the inflation.
Right? With the inflation, so that's half of it, right? So half of that inflation. So the total inflation. So half the inflation will go to the OA, which is 350 billion, right? The other inflation, which is 350 billion, right? That will be split amongst all the people who are getting interest. No, I'm sorry. Wait, did I do that right? Yeah. So okay, I'll have. So I'm kind of speculating at least 75% of that 350 million of that billion inflation is going to be split amongst the people, and stuff, if that makes sense. So it's like so half of it's going to go to the OA. So we're talking about a lot of people, especially the people when they start making it past the 5 to 10 year stakes and stuff, they're going to be splitting about 175 billion hex in interest. That's some, but I don't think like, I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly because I have to kind of have to write all this out, but pretty much towards the tail end of it, since like I'm guessing 80% of people are going to emergency on stake, 20% are going to keep it probably. So you end up rolling all this interest out. So when people do end stake correctly, they end up getting a shit ton of hex, especially at those 10 years and those 15 year stakes.
I think so.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I think so, because you're going to have an unproportionally larger bag of shares, not just hex, but of shares going into if you staked it before big payday, going into year 10 through 15. And I don't think people understand. So I may have 10 times less than the guy that staked after big payday.
Yeah.
But my share rate is so much better. Maybe we're receiving the same inflation, even though my bag is 10x less than his principal. My principal is 10x less than his principal. And I don't know. I haven't done any models or tried to do any math on that, but I know that those shares are going to play a big part in how much of that inflation we get. And those who are in long-term staking after big payday are going to be in a much less of the joining in the inflation reward than those with big shares. Yeah.
So I redid the math. So it's 116.6 billion to 175 billion.
Yeah.
Because half of the emergency on stakes, because like I'm calculating it's probably like 80%. So it's like, and then you have to cut that in half because half of the end stakes penalties go to the OA.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's right.
So you're talking about 116 to like 200 billion ish, of that inflation is going to be given to the stakers. But then let's just say it's 200. So you're literally talking about every year, maybe like 20% of that's actually getting realized, and then it's just getting passed. It's a snowball. So the people who actually end stake when they're supposed to on those later day stakes are fucking gonna be balling out.
Yeah, dude. I wish I had the DeLorean so I could go 10 years into the future just to see where Hex is at and what it does, and God. And as Franklin St. Hex wants us to talk about, see at what point in the future people start actually using denominating all of their goods and services in Hex when it's used as a real currency.
It's probably like 2 cycles.
2 cycles?
2 cycles,
so 8 years? 8-9 years?
Probably towards the end of the decade or the beginnings of the 2030s, if I'm being honest. Because I mean, like, just recently the U.S. banks are allowed to hold. Because I just recently went to the bank and they were asking me about that as well, and they just recently got allowed to hold crypto assets for customers. Yeah. So some banks are going to do it, other banks are not. But you're going to start seeing. So maybe not on this bull run, but after this one crashes and then we're in the middle of the next one, you could start seeing something like JP Morgan, Bank of America say, hey, leave a Bitcoin here. We'll start giving you collateralized loans, or like sir, you have this crypto here. Hey, come on down. We'll give you a house loan. 100%. Yeah. We'll give us the lowest APR, 1%.
So one thing I'm waiting for when Hex is in the top 10, top 5, and just like Gary was talking about how like Robert Kiyosaki holds his gold as collateral. Well, a lot of people don't realize this, but in the real world with a real CD, you can actually hold that give the bank your CD as collateral. So then you've got skin in the game, but you don't actually have to give them anything. So they hold the collateral, but as long as you stay current on your payments, they don't collect that CD from you. They don't cash it out and take it. So wait until you can do that with actual Hex on a blockchain, on the CD on the blockchain. I can't wait, because I'll be buying gangbusters of real estate using my Hex as collateral.
Right.
And never ever having to actually give it to them.
Even though it's kind of like making deals with because like the cryptocurrency industry already fucking gave its ass to fucking Wall Street. It's done. It's done. Oh, yeah. It's done, dude. They sold us out. Like before, like most of us. I mean, I got in maybe like late 2016, but I wasn't buying shit. I mean, I was just looking at it, So like, I really didn't get in until like February of 2017. So I mean, that's most people. I mean, the market's like whoever you know, it's probably from 2017. There's like a couple people from 15 maybe, and then like fucking I can count with my hand like this many people from like 2011, and then all the people before 2011. Like masks on, you don't know who the fuck they are. You know?
Yep.
They ain't talking, right? So, this next cycle, you're gonna need to have more people in this. So it's gonna be more than like then from there, like you could see 2 cycles from now, like I got into crypto in 2017. Wow, you're an OG.
Yeah.
Like this whole OG thing starts happening. It's the same thing with like it's gonna happen with Hex. You know, like I said this a couple streams ago, where like. Oh yeah, I was in the chat. I was in the chat before it went while it was like Hex Bitcoin Hex. Like then eventually it's gonna go to like I was a day oneer. Like I was here before Big Payday. I was here in Big Payday after Payday. You know, like I was in after during the bear market of 2033. You know,
right.
Yeah.
No, dude, I think you're right on. I think you called it right on that stream when you said that there's gonna be pre and post Big Payday, and the original OGs, regardless of whether you were in when it was original Vibe with the CFD token chat, which in Discord, which I was, or if it was Bitcoin Hex at that time, or if you're just waiting for them to release it. I don't think that'll. Well, I'm sure people will still keep track of those.
It's a dick measuring contest.
It is. But I think the majority of people are going to be, were you in before Big Payday? And I think that's going to be the big quantifier between everybody. If that's even a word. I'm not even sure if that's a word. Bitcoin Hex OG in the house. Big K, thanks for the diamond, buddy.
Damn, diamonds make them dance, man.
Yep. You know what? I forgot. Brian Magruder said, so we are progressively going to get richer and richer with the Ninja Guinea. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Thank you guys all for the lemons and the ice creams. We got Valiant Brand. Cheers, boys, to the highest view count. Hex, thanks for the diamond, buddy. All right. You guys are just the most generous. Definitely the most generous ever.
Definitely. I mean, there's going to be a time at like some point in, even during the worst bear market in crypto, right? Hex won't go below a penny. Eventually, you know, like
say that again.
Oh, I said at a certain point, right? We're gonna hit a certain price point on Hex that even after the worst, you know, like stocks crash, crypto crash, everything goes down, right? Because even Richard says everything goes down 80%, right? That there's a certain point where Hex won't go below a penny.
Oh, I bet you're right. I'll bet 100%.
Like
I think there's going to be. Well, this may be a long ways out in the future, but I think there's going to be a point where it won't go below $1. Just calling it now. What's up, Funding Jim?
Jim, dude,
that would be so baller.
Yeah, bro. I know, right?
I was joking around with fucking Hexologist saying like if Hex does go to $1, me and him are going to own like half of the state of Ohio. we're gonna make Ohio potato again.
Potato again.
Right.
I love it.
Because he was telling me he was having like internet problems over there for some reason.
So yeah, I was messing with his stream earlier. I don't know if you guys saw. I was changing his name or his title of his stream.
Definitely.
Yeah. So our stream never changes because RG3 set me up with Hexo's old account, Restream account. So ours never changes on RG3 Pirate, but every time I would update it for all the channels, it was changing Hexos. So I was just in the middle of the stream today with Hexo. I was changing all of his.
Yeah, definitely.
I was telling everyone to come watch Discourse Syndicate at 6 p.m. Eastern Pacific time with Litecoin or Hex Jesus and Kinetics. So
definitely. Oh, do you know what? In that calculation, that's only losing interest payments. That wasn't calculating people actually losing principal too. Holy shit! Wait.
Oh yeah, that was only end stake. You're saying?
That was only interest. That was only the inflation given as interest. That wasn't calculating people being stupid and nuking their stakes. Holy shit! Yeah, because
that was just interest and not emergency and stake you were talking about. Yep.
That means some of the 700 billion could also be. Damn! Wow.
Big K.
Man,
thought I was dropping the OG Bitcoin hex on you, and then you went CFD right at the same moment. I was like,
CFD, yes, sir.
I was right after that.
That's awesome.
Well,
hey, we're all early enough to be billionaires in the future. I don't know if it's in hearts or in USD, but I'm just saying.
I think I got hearts and spades already.
Yeah, I think in hearts I have $1 billion. Maybe I got to calculate that.
Oh, I'm a trillionaire in shares, man. I got
there you go.
Trillionaires.
Oh,
I was
Shout
just
out to
looking
all
at
sharks.
was the short stake versus the long stake. So the short stake that's massive by comparison to the long stake that's small, and in shares it's like 6 or 7 times more shares before that smaller stake further out. So the compounding power is real,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when I show people, like when I explain it to people, I have a staking ladder that just has a similar amount out, a whole bunch, and you can be like, look, you can just see it. There's the shares grow, like they're way, it's pretty visual.
Yeah. Cabana decided to be a soy boy tonight. I just want to call him out on stream. Yeah, he said, "I'm a good man. Have a long day, mañana. I need to catch up on some sleep from last night." So I'm glad I bailed when I did. Were you guys on for a long time afterward?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, it was for my habit now. I watch everything in double time, so I love watching you guys. When I'm not in part of the stream, but
right.
I don't know if it's just I'm addicted to like caffeine or what. But everybody's on double speed, so great when I participate. But I'm also like pacing myself, like
yeah. I'm starting to get endurance for these things, man. I'm doing them so often that I'm starting to like a 1 hour stream seems like it's like 2 minutes ago. Like it's nothing.
I know, dude. That's the problem.
We're done. Oh.
I look up at the live timer because we have a live timer. For those of us who are in the stream, you guys can't see it on your end, but for those of us in the stream, we can see the live timer.
It's in the counter. Yeah, in the corner.
And as soon as it hits at that 4 hours, I'm like, oh crap, I better stop the stream because StreamYard stops recording at that time. So
yeah, so we can keep talking, but then we're not getting any of it.
Definitely.
Man, it's pretty wild out here, by the way. Puerto Rico is like there's a tropical storm that's kicking through. So we've been like I've lost power like 3 times already today. It's been out for a while.
How much are the diesel generators out there?
Well, they've got big like the complex that I'm in has a big like huge ones. So like they'll turn them on, I guess, after like a day of us. If we're like actually out of power, they'll turn them on. But and there's like a big switch outside of the place to like if switch it over when they do. But I mean, you could go like I went to the store. I picked up just in case. I got a deep cell marine battery here and a little inverter too, so like I can keep my shit running for days here. But yeah, at the store there's generators there. You can grab a couple $100 for a generator or whatever.
Hey, Peter the Great and Into the Fire. You guys are probably in the zone. I think between 3 and 5 cents.
Great. Put it in there 3 times for everyone to see, but he wanted everyone to know that he thinks Hex will reach 5 cents by big payday.
That's not crazy. That's not.
I really
crazy.
don't. If we hit a cent, what's 2 or 3? Dude, I mean, honestly,
like right now, we've hit the point of the market that it's place your bets time. Right now, right? And people are calculating tokens right now based on like how can I get a couple thousand of them, right? So like if a coin's 17 cents, a penny or something, like let me get 10,000, let me get 100,000 of these. If it's a penny, they're like, okay, let me get 100,000 of these. If it's 10 cents, let me get 10,000. If it's $1, let me get 1,000. That's how people are thinking when they're investing.
Oh yeah, I mean, even I can't even help it myself. Like I know better than that, but like GT's showing ample for us, and I was like,
dude, I made money on that.
$2.50. I was like, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. A little pricey for my blood.
I've turned $60 into 500 with ample. Just fucking, just leaving it in there. Like every time I just watch the market cap, like, oh shit, new all-time high, sell it. Goes back down to 300 million, buy it again. Check it up a couple days later.
I just made a couple billion hearts with Hex, just sitting back and trustlessly gaining interest over the last couple days.
Well,
so
take those psychological anchors.
I'm sorry?
Those psychological anchors to value, like you're saying, that penny thing.
Yeah,
Ooh, I'm slowing down.
but that's
I
how
don't know if I'm lagging.
that's how people look at things, especially like another way that I started really thinking about this is because if you're earning interest on some coins, you start thinking in thousands and 10,000s and millions, right? Because you earn interest per year, per week on it, so you start looking at things like that. And then there's a lot of people that like if you extrapolate out, right, like right now, even for a lot of coins under, like, let's just say any coin under $100, it's not impossible to get 1,000 of them, right, and below. So you start extrapolating that out, and if that, like, something that's a penny, like, oh, that could be $1. Wow, that so if I have 100,000, that's $100,000. That's a Porsche. Cool.
That's before I knew better in 2017. That's what I thought Ripple was going to do for me.
I mean, if you bought it at the right time.
I didn't time it right.
I mean, that's another one of those stories of mine that like I had. Yeah, I was on Poloniex like way, early in 2016 when and yeah, I had Ripple early, and then when it went, I was like, when I hit 2 cents, I was like, holy shit, 2 cents! I can't believe it! Sell, and then it went up a lot higher. So
Well, see, that's another thing that Litecoin's commented on a lot in most of these streams is, at the end of a 555 stake, there's probably less than 100 people that will actually make it that far, just because psychologically 2 cents, 4 cents, 10 cents, it just seems so unrealistic that it would hold or that it would rack up, right?
Oh yeah,
it's going to be this ride of bumps and things like that. So I have to give respect to OG Bitcoin people that still have that initial stake. Of whatever.
Oh yeah, that's it reminds me of I was at a talk that Charlie Shrem was doing, and he was like, man, people all the time ask me like, why the hell didn't you tell me to buy Bitcoin at $1? And he's like, man, if I told you to buy it at $1, you'd have sold it at $2.
That's so true. Dude, we have some people from the stock world, man, that they're like, dude, you should hear these conversations. They're terrible. My buddy got some guy to buy some Litecoin the other day for like what was like $45, and it went down to like $42. He was getting phone calls like, what the hell is going on right now with this? And then it went to 55, and he's like thinking about selling the whole stack now. I'm like, like it's just it depending, like these gold guys and these silver guys and these guys from the traditional markets, like they'll sell 20% is enough for them.
Yeah. Yep.
That's enough.
20% is great for them.
Silver and gold to go back up. I mean, it's reached like regional local highs as far as gold. They're speaking on this commentary now, but it's still not above anything that was like 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
No, it's not.
The silver, the paper and the paper and physical silver market are completely separated now by like 10. Like it's $22 on like, I guess whatever, like the online exchanges and stuff. But if you actually go into stores, it's over $35 an ounce.
Right.
In stores. This is here in California. I don't know what the other prices are in stores, but like,
well, if you look at
it depends on the quantity that you're buying too. Like, I mean, you can get a lot closer to that price, but I can get that $22 an ounce price right now, but I have to go physically and pick up physical delivery over at AppMex or Monex or wherever, like at one of their locations, and go get myself a 60-pound silver bar, and that's like that's how it's gonna come.
But if it's like an American Eagle or something like that, it's still like 32 or 33 for 100 or more. So you have to have 100 or more because it's monetary metal versus industrial metal. So it depends on what you're going to do with it. Right? And even somebody at K has maybe all the X-ray equipment, things like that, to make sure. And you're basically you're putting your equipment and technology on, making sure that it's true. But you can buy all kinds of things at spot or closer to spot. You don't know that you can resell it without having to pay an assay fee or something like that too.
Yeah. I mean, even people like Robert Kiyosaki right now, they're not buying gold anymore. He literally said that. It's like, I'm not buying gold anymore. I'm buying Bitcoin and silver. So even these OG gold bugs are like, they're
he's got. Well, I mean, him and Pomp have become besties.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Maloney's right down the street, and he's pushing every day, and he's still saying about the silver gold ratio and all these other kinds of things about if you're going to exit, how you can get twice as much gold because you are in the silver ratio, and then you basically flip over to gold when it comes down to like 70s or 60s or 50s or whenever you have your pain points to switch out to gold. So there's a lot of people that have been preaching. I don't really think they've been hyping their bag. Like Schiff and Maloney, I don't think they're hyper bag. I think Maloney is a lot more open even like my friend George Hammond that's on there, he's been commenting all the time on his channel about, you know, still speculative about some of these crypto stuff, but his weight is toward, you know, some of the bigger things that are immutable like this. So it's very cool.
Well, you got some things to say real quick, guys, just to interject. 149 viewers, highest I've ever seen it on this channel. Hex Business, thank you for the Ninja Guinea. Brian Magruder, thank you for the diamond as always. Top contributor for the night is definitely Brian Magruder at 1.2K in donations tonight. Yeah, you guys are fantastic. You guys are, we're going to almost got as many lemons as Hexo's show.
Yeah. And Motley Investor, I think you're right. Like, it's not the move, but it's where the institutional money's going. And what we as crypto investors are doing is we're leveraging their money for our pocket. So it's like they're the buoy that lifts up all the boats and stuff. So we're taking everyone's scared money and, like, you know, like a lot of people still treat Bitcoin sort of like a you know, it's fucking disaster fund or, like, you know, idiot fund, right? So just in case some shit happens, I save my portfolio. So they're, as all that institutional money, like Real Vision's pumping out tons of videos on, you know, they even barely talk about fucking Ethereum. So it's like all this money's pumping to Bitcoin. The Bitcoin goes up. Then people who own Bitcoin end up buying altcoins, which then pumps the altcoins up, and then just starts this cycle of people switching between altcoins. And then you start having leveraging, and people stop noticing they're still trading the same amount of crypto they had, right, which is thousands, but the price of each crypto has gone up so much that they're moving huge amounts of money. You know what I mean? Like that coin that was $1, they're moving, it's like $15. So they're guys that are only moving $1,000 are like moving. I'm gonna move 1,000 of these tokens over to this token, but they're actually moving like 15 grand, 25,000 into tokens. So you start getting these price hikes on everything. That's just it's a beautiful cycle.
What I see is like that meme that you guys have seen the picture where it's not Richard really, but it looks like he's a fat guy and it says heavy gains and your max carb gains and stuff. And what's interesting is what you just said, Litecoin just said, is, you know, imagine like a 200-pound guy gaining 200 pounds. That's Bitcoin gaining 200 pounds. Now it's a 400-pound guy. Now imagine the 200-pound guy jumping on a seesaw, you know, and one end is a little fella, and the 200-pound guy, he propels a little bit. But now imagine that same 400-pound guy, you know, that Bitcoin heavy guy, hitting that seesaw, and you know,
talk about real moon.
Go for a ride.
So, Brian Magruder, since you our #1 contributor tonight, I am going to take this question to gifting you, Hex. But what are your thoughts on Tim Draper? Saw you in the video with him a while back.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him a bunch of different times about different, most of 2017. You know, he's been promoting Bitcoin itself since maybe in Silicon Valley, at least since 2013. You know, probably at least.
Yeah.
And he's always been like a tweet guy. His son Adam is very popular with like alt. He's a darling of alts. He likes alts more. Tim more favors Bitcoin and Ethereum. But yeah, I've talked to him before. I haven't talked to him specifically about Hex only, but I've talked to him before, and he's very pro about what kind of like the Roger Ver point of view, that there will be, if you find utility in it and it's doing what you expect it to do, not based on the team doing something for you, but if it's doing what you expect it to do as a technology, he's all for it. So I can see him being a Hex. That means sense.
Be great.
You guys, if I start cutting out again, we've been having a crazy monsoon season. We're in the freaking desert, and it's been wreaking havoc on everything. So I apologize if I'm cutting out on my end.
It's all good. Fuck goddamn Carol Basket.
You just can't meet that. You can't beat that.
That's so
beat the mustache.
Dude, that show is amazing. Dude, there's a really good chance he's going to win that lawsuit against the government for entrapment. It's the evidence. Bro is going to make a killing. He's going to start doing country music and shit.
Thanks, Hex Business, for the Ninja Guinea again. Gosh, you guys are just so gracious.
I'm so mad that they're making a movie. They're making a movie about his life and stuff, like an actual movie, or no, a television series, I think. And the main actor they
did already, didn't they? It's Joe Dirt, right?
No, they didn't choose. They chose some other guy. He was supposed to be I'm surprised Joe Dirt wasn't chosen for that. I'm so mad about that because he literally says it in the show and stuff, and he's like, He's like party in the front, business in the front, party in the
Yeah,
back, and stuff like that. Yeah, he's like, I'm Joe Dirt.
He's living that life.
The best line ever would have been when it's like, "Is this queer? Is this queer?" He's like, "You bet."
So Peter the Great poses a question, and I'd like an answer. What's your 2022 hex price prediction?
2022. We kind of talked about that after you guys were out last night. That was one of the things that Cabana really brought out there. So I want to hear your opinion first.
John Wallace's prediction is Nicolas Cage. Just so you guys know, just pointing that out.
I think that, I mean, like, okay, 2022 would put us at 2.5 years, or just about, from, so like 2.5 years to appreciate the design intention would be to at least be, somewhere around 56 cents, if we want to hit a 10,000x. So that's a pretty good place to hope to be. I mean, I think that because of the way the market looks like it's unfolding, there's a good chance that, like, if we are in the beginning of a bull run, that, like, I mean, what did we last time? 2 years max, like you said, we're, 2016 now to the, end of 2017. So if that's the case, then like 2022 might be like the end of that. That might be where crashes begin,
Yeah.
if you're trying to guess.
It's really hard to, because with that year, like it just depends on when you think the top is going to be. Like I've been saying for a while that I think the top's going to be in. I'm just talking about crypto in general, not Hex, but crypto in general. The top's going to be in 2021. But I have people telling me it's 2022, and then there's other people saying that we're in the elongated cycle now. It's something like Plan B, and some of these other guys have been kind of pushing out. There's another guy. What's his name? I'll find out the name in a minute, but it's this guy who, like, he's an investor and stuff that just talks about the 4-year cycle guy, and he's been theorizing that each cycle that's been going on now is the cycle's getting a year longer, so it's turning to a 5-year cycle, and the next cycle will be a 6-year cycle or something like that. So, but I don't know. I mean, as long as you've got stakes out and it's laddered, bro, shit, you're gonna be sitting pretty, man.
Yeah.
So, fuck
yeah. Yeah, that's a good. I think that's a better question, really. If we're asking price predictions, is where do you think Hex will be at the next top, like at its first top here that it hits, like real bull market top? Where do you think that's going to be? Do you think it'll be like do you think it'll blow? Like the question to me then is, do you think it's going to blow the 10,000? Like, because the design intention is 10,000 is to go is what Richard says is that it's to put, like, Ethereum went 10,000x in 2.5 years, and this is designed to go up faster and harder. So like that would assume more than 10,000x, and so like
right.
More than 56 cents. Shit, I mean, $1
I
would
think
be
I think
amazing.
I'm being conservative at $1. I think I'm being conservative.
$1 is a pretty good.
Crypto Vince in the chat went all GT on us and said $3.33. So
red flag.
red flag. Yeah, where's your red flag, Vince? Come on, man.
But
there's also he might be taking into account if there's going to be a discount in the value of dollar. I just went and tried to buy M&Ms, and it was like $12 for like one of those things, a bag of like a social, whatever it is, like a party bag of M&Ms, $12, $13. I looked at like a Snicker bar. I was like, oh, I think I'll get a Snick bar, and I think it was like $6 for 5 of them or something like that. The small little widgets, and that's at a discount kind of grocery store. So I don't know what CPI really is. I don't know what real inflation will be in 2.5 years. But to say $1, to say $3, you got to look at what your units are. How are you exiting?
Yeah, that's I got in I wouldn't say an argument, but it was a heated exchange, talking with somebody about this similar thing, and like, about what the end result is, like, that they're explaining that, like, everybody's going to want to, like, net profit out of this system at some point in time, and like, fair, so the question is, when is that everybody going to be the origin address, or the large players in the system? And I theorized that like it's not like saying that everybody necessarily wants to pull out and gain dollars is not necessarily the case, you know. Like in that regard, what if dollars aren't the thing to be gained at that point in time, you know? I mean, in that regard, what if there is a different reserve currency that people care about, you know?
They're talking about Fed coin like crazy. They're talking about Chinese yuan coins. They're talking about whatever you want to. I mean, you can talk about the what is it called, the peso, or what is it called, that oil coin or whatever it was.
The petro.
Yeah,
the petro.
Yeah, the petro. Yeah,
you can speculate on what you think the next things might be, but I'm only trying to translate it into tangible things in the future. Maybe a little bit here in one country, you know, and diversify your geographical risk, diversify your political risk, diversify, and there's no better tool for that than crypto, specifically to move monies around.
Yeah, dude, I had a friend of mine today call me and say like, "Yo, let's buy some of this Fed coin," and I just was laughing on the phone, like, dude, it's $1, it's worth $1, dude. Like, what are you talking about? That's how little information people know. Like I've heard they're gonna come out with Fed coin. He's like, okay, accept it. We're gonna go into crypto.
It's gonna be built in taxation. We would call it inflation. We would call it slippage, friction, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to be built in that the Fed can maybe in one big lever, but probably just built into the algorithm. You know, right now we talk so much about the negative yield interest rates, right? The yield curve, and oh my gosh, you know, it pays you less. You're definitely going to get less if you have a treasury, right? You're going to get less. I mean, it's telling you right up front. Well, I mean, that's what Bitcoin can do. It can build in an inflation rate. And so like Hex builds in and pays stakers 3.69% because of the staking class. But Fed coin might build in progressive taxation. So if you hold enough Fed coin, you might pay a higher inflation rate because you're taxing the rich. So you got to be careful about some of these things that are algorithmically created that are not fungible, and I don't think Fed coin is going to be completely fungible.
Yeah,
no, and I think that a lot of it, you know, Crypto Vince said something on Twitter today that like that I was thinking about, that like a lot of it really, like with the inflation that happens, it's like, you know, with Fed coin, like you have no control over where that inflation is going to be given to. You know, there's absolutely no way, and like in, you know, as a hard money kind of person that I am, you know, I used to think always that like, you know, my Bitcoin, in my old school Bitcoin mentality of like, it's a deflationary currency. There's, you know, like, and it's not, you know, but like, I thought that was super valuable, but like, I think that inflation can be a useful tool and should be in systems. It's just really about where the inflation is given to and who gets it, you know. That's like in Hex, you know exactly where it's going, and you know exactly by a mathematical metric how to get your hands on your piece of it, you know. That's you're not going to get that with Fed coin ever,
dude. Short term for the inflation, man. Like, so have you been seeing like there's coin shortages all over the United States right now?
Yeah,
right. So we're getting rid of the pennies, so the new penny is going to be the dollar. That's essentially what's going on. Is that when you get rid, the real reason why we should keep pennies and quarters is so it's all psychological, right? So they think the lowest denomination is a penny, right? Well, now the lowest denomination is now $1.
and nickel, well, I guess then you're right, you know, it goes,
it's $1 all the now,
coins
right?
go away.
Like they've been talking for a while now about releasing $1,000 bill, dude. Like we're starting to go towards the yen side a little bit, how that's going to end up going, right? With the, like, I don't think the dollar's going nowhere, right? Because this whole cycle, no matter what happens, we'll end up losing half the world's currencies. Who gives a fuck? Like the dollar still be here. Eventually, you know, enough of these crash cycles end up happening. Then eventually, then people lose confidence in the U.S. dollar, but it's not going to be this decade, I think. But you are going to see inflation. Like right now, I think we have like 8% inflation. Like if you ever look at the things like the cost of a candy bar was 5 cents and it's now this is how much inflation it is. But that even that calculation is wrong, because look at the ounces on the candy bar versus the candy bar you're buying today. It's
sucker is half the size.
Yeah, exactly.
It's half the size, but it's more than the price.
That's
3 years ago.
that's how they trick you. Like a lot of the stuff, like you see, like this this candy bar is 5 cents, but 5 cents, and it was like a pound of chocolate, right? And then like let's just say $1. So if you just multiply that up by just the ounces, you're like, holy crap! It's the inflation rate's almost 3 times what they're actually saying.
Yeah,
that's what's going on. Yeah.
And it's kind of like the
Right.
manipulation that happens when they look at a stock index. They say how many are in the Nasdaq. They'll remove a stock that's performing poorly so that the index stays high or stays,
Yeah.
And the same thing with the CPI, Consumer Price Index, is basically when they calculate it, then in the 70s or 80s, it was a certain amount of a certain cut of steak, or it was a certain amount of a gallon of milk as far as your index over the consumer's purchases. But then they just removed those products that are outside of the curve. Well, why are they outside of the curve? Because it's more expensive to grow a steak than it used to be. Well, okay, because you have grain and fertilizer and labor and all these other things that go into it. But that's the whole purpose of having a CPI, is you're supposed to be saying, what was that cowboy in the 1800s spending? What was that person in the 1950s spending? What are you spending in 2020?
Yeah. And at least the one fact that really, like, I feel like really sped up the inflation, which was good for crypto. Like, the inflation is good for crypto. More cash in the system means our assets appreciate faster, right?
At least.
No, yeah, at least, yeah. But was when they start, at least here in the United States. I don't know about worldwide, but like that first $1,200 check started coming out, right? It doesn't matter for regular people, right? For the most part, because if people who are working and they got that money, cool, they goes into savings account, right? But there's guys and a bunch of people that don't work that just spend it on dumb shit, and that's when I really started noticing inflation going up. Meat prices started going up. Everything. This next $2,000 check, which pretty much is guaranteed now, is going to come out. I mean, it's good. It's great for the crypto prices because, like, people like, cool, $2,000, they just throw it into Bitcoin, or they throw it into Ethereum, or they throw it into Hex or whatever, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get the two the balancing sides of it are both in existence. Like, I understand that, like, all that the Fed can do in a situation, or all the government can do in a situation like this, is print their way out of it. That's what they have that's the tool that they built for themselves to leverage, like, on the economy, to, like, get themselves out of this without actually coming to us as citizens and saying, hey, let me up your taxes, or let me get some of this, buy some bonds or whatever, like, that's the way that we're the ones that need the handout. So they're going to inflate the currency to do that. That's all they have to do. But, like, that's what, at the same time, that's what they kind of should be doing. That's, like, I mean, they don't really have any other option. And we all know that what happens is, like, the commodities around you go up in price. That's just by the nature of it. I mean, like, it's a balancing act that you can't stop. Like, you can't. I see it all happening and playing out. It doesn't mean it's like I can stop that, or
each person in their specific niche. So the investors, depending on how they invest, pumps everything across the board, because you have the gold guys are like, cool, I can get myself now a gold, 1 ounce gold, whatever it costs, right? 1 ounce gold coin. Silver guys are buying silver. The stock guys are buying their stocks, right? The crypto guys buying their coins, right?
Well,
but if
and that continues, and it'll continue like that. That every time they set out a stimulus check, like, these prices should, continue this way until there's a fear that that's going to stop, and that there won't be any economic activity going forward. Then I could see some serious contraction, but that won't be for a minute.
Yeah.
Real quick, guys, Cabana, thanks for the diamond, buddy. Appreciate it.
So if you're going to translate into something that's a commodity, the things that Litecoin was just commenting mostly about, as far as rising potential price or more adoption, involvement, ownership, whatever you want to call it, are things that are relatively mobile. So a stock, you can be anywhere in the world, you can trade it, you can go so forth. It just might be the governmental control, it might be the IRS control and things like that. But you are pseudo liquid and very mobile. You can choose the jurisdiction that you're taxed in. You can choose when you exit. Same thing with crypto, same thing with most commodities, even if it's tangible or physical. If you're going to be completely transparent and you're going to go sell them back to a dealer, and they're going to buy thousands of coins from you, silver coins or something like that, and give you a check, and you're going to buy real estate with it or whatever, then again, you should choose your jurisdiction. And when it comes to, where you actually own real estate, You got to think about, the early pioneers, they ran risks. They didn't know the natives. They didn't basically know the risk of the climate or the geography. So the ones that set out as pioneers, they might have had really great windfalls in real estate and had amazing property that increased in value because it was popular with others that wanted to buy it from them or lease it or live on it. But right now, at least in California, it's very hostile to any kind of ownership class. It's extremely hostile. And I would say that for a couple of reasons. One is just the socialist movement. There's a lot of socialism in California. Everybody's known that for a long time. The second is we really haven't promoted over the past 20 or 30 years any sense of savings benefiting you, any sense. Basically, you leverage. And you leverage your time because you want your employer to also contribute to a 401k. You leverage because you're selling your time or whatever, and you're hoping someone else basically picks up the tab and makes you whole or makes that worthwhile. It's the same thing with your taxation on government. Government doesn't create money. It just printed $6 trillion, but it doesn't create any money. It doesn't create value. There's no purchasing power that government does. All it does is basically act as a waypoint for money in the future to come back to it, and that's through taxation. So the owner class is getting demonized and completely inside the United States. And so if you're going to look at actually ownership of something that doesn't move with you in your wallet or with your person or in your brain because you can remember 12 words, whatever it might be, if you want to look at something to own and you're going to say it might be real estate, I would recommend you look at states that don't tax you right now, like Nevada, Florida, there's a lot, Texas, there's a lot of states that don't tax you, at least as far as their sovereign state charter. So you can look at those things because it's often mostly populated by people that believe in smaller government. They believe in sovereignty and your self-determination and your ownership rights. A lot of California doesn't believe in you owning something. They want it to be shared. Everything has to be shared. Yeah, so it's a very socialist movement right now.
Yeah, that's why people are leaving.
That's why there's a lot of Californians that are actually trying to move to Texas and make it better. I'm like, get the fuck out, stay out of Texas. You really kind of already tainted. You kind of tainted over there. Don't move from Texas.
Right.
That's awesome.
I'm golden being Latino, man. I can go to fucking Texas and I can hit New Mexico and then Arizona.
So there's discussions right now. It's already been decided on both sides. There's going both sides of the aisle that there's going to be another stimulus check. Mm-hmm. There is a discussion about a $2,000 check now. And if Peter the Great had a great point in the comments here. He said, if 3,000 people from Telegram invest $2,000 into Hex, we'll pump hard. Yes, you bet you we will. What's that, $60 million? Something like that. Yes, we would. So all of you guys, put your stimulus check in Hex. So
it takes less than $1 million right now to go to a penny. It's our texture was saying that less than $1 million puts it over a penny.
Nice. And that is financial advice, by the way. So moving on.
My eyes are like, what?
It's not my stream. It's not my stream. I wanted to talk to you, Gary, about the Monarch wallet. So you and Rob Beatles are good buddies, and everybody is pretty excited that they're giving $50,000 worth of Hex away right now.
Wow, that's $6 million.
You might have seen it inside the Telegram, but it was basically the Twitter So I've been talking to Rob, a lot in the past few months, and a lot in 2017, 18, even more for something else. But he's been really focused on. So many people know that I moved to Puerto Rico in 17. The people that I moved also with, two of them came out of Los Angeles. One of them's name is Sine Bot. The other one's name is Sam Capizzi. So the three of us, plus one of their other assistants, helped them on their channel. We're there. We went through the I went through the Act 20 and 22 process and so forth. Sine and Sam went back to LA, and unrelated to crypto, Sam lost his life, and he lost his life suicide. So that's one of the reasons that at least my channel and why I started coming back into a public realm is to promote this particular thing. But they are related because they brought their idea about a crypto to Rob. And Rob is the third partner. He's the founder that's the face for Monarch. So Monarch, what's interesting about Monarch that's different than anything else as far as a wallet is that Monarch actually, Rob put several $1 million into paying for all of the licensure, and he basically bought a bank level licensure to be able to be a money transmitter inside of the United States. The only other company inside of the U.S. jurisdiction that has the same licenses that Monarch has is Coinbase. That's the only other one. The others like Poloniex and Gemini don't even have the level that he has. So he has a broker-dealer license, and that broker-dealer license is very interesting when it comes to interacting with banks and fiat on-ramping into crypto. So one of the things that Monarch does, that's the novel idea that Snay and Sam brought to him, was the fact that it can pull crypto. You know, many of us hear about sending crypto, and you have your choice. Or you can, it's kind of like even like the ZK Sync. You can load a wallet, but that wallet actually, on a subscription basis, you can say, I'm going to pay my Netflix, I want to pay my car payment, I want to pay my house payment, I want to pay my whatever, and pull it monthly. You can set it, you can put your own determination on parameters and things like that. But you can basically have receive payments as a merchant in the form of crypto. And translate it if you wanted to into fiat and operate as a merchant, handling your inventory and so forth. If you're a client or you're a user of the wallet, then it's the same sort of thing. You can set your bills that you want to automatically pay and set it and forget it, right? Essentially. Now this comes in really handy when it's something that is an interest bearing or interest creating kind of token. Cell is one of the ones that obviously is getting promoted. He's been working with Cell with I forgot his last name. Right?
Alex Mashinsky.
Yeah, Mashinsky, right? We've been working with Mashinsky for a while and so forth, right? And they've been a holder as far as the staking and the interest, and kind of been interested in that for a while. But I approached Rob many months ago, probably in like January or something like that. Yeah, at least in January, about Hex. This was right around the time that right before he had his live stream with Richard, if anybody remembers that. But yeah, things have been coming along really well. The V1 had been out for a while, but it's a little bit clunky and didn't function as well as V2 that still isn't completely released, but it's partially released. Right. And I saw that when I looked at it before today's announcement of the $50,000, not 50,000 hex, $50,000 of
dollars in hex, yeah.
Yeah, and so that before that announcement, I looked at it and I saw that before I wasn't promoting it a lot at all because you could hold hex in it, and I had put some hex in it just to experiment with the wallet, but it wouldn't show a dollar amount. It wouldn't show how much is a hex worth, and it wasn't tradable. Even though it was the ERC20, it wasn't tradable. Now, when you look at it, you see a dollar amount. So they're pulling the data from somewhere. I don't know what their oracle is for at least the data to show a price point. And when I tried to do a swap, I was showing it on screen on my phone earlier, and I might make a video about it later. But basically, swap isn't enabled by Cell isn't enabled yet. But the message that pops up when you try to do it with Hex is upgrade is happening right now, and possibly that's part of the upgrade is that you would be able to buy, sell, trade on the Monarch wallet. That would be really exciting. I know we've talked to them offline about with some other developers too about integrating the Uniswap functionality, things like that. And they're probably working on it. He has like 10 or 12 devs that work on different projects for him. But
cool.
Very exciting about that particular thing. I also, if you wanted to show it on screen, I don't know if you want to share it or not, but that was the Twitter thing that most people might have seen. The other thing is 50 grand put at 555 is like a ridiculous amount of hex payout if people were to basically say, hey, I've got free hex, because you can claim it's a free claim. If you download the wallet and you hit one button, then your address that's tied to your new wallet is part of the $50,000 pool, and you get an even distribution. So it's not earlier, gets better rates, or more of, or retweet, or do all these other kind of work in order to get a share of 50 grand. No, it's just basically look at the wallet. It's basically payment to look at the wallet. So pretty cool.
Oh, I did it. It took like 2 seconds. Super easy.
Super, super cool.
It was like literally the easiest giveaway I think I've ever been a part of. Actually, like
Yeah. You hit the claim and it says done. Gives you a green check mark in here. That was it.
Yeah.
And I've had the Monarch wallet since they first released it in middle of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
When he first talked about his wallet and I saw it in the App Store, I downloaded it right away. Now I haven't done much with it yet, but I'm figuring down the road it'd be a great place because they will essentially have, if you're going to put your crypto somewhere, they are going to have a custodial feature to it.
Well, what I set it up for, I set it up also, but I set it up about maybe less recently, or more recently than yours. I think I set it up around maybe September of last year, and I looked at it for similar reasons, and I was thinking about and this is before Hex had released, before it had started, and I remember that I was thinking, okay, I have certain consulting services that I'll do. I have certain work that I'll do for people. I'm willing to set my prices, like we talked about entrepreneurism last night at a different stream, and about you basically being able to insulate yourself on what the cost of things are, because you can set the prices of what the work it is that you're willing to do for people, services you're willing to deliver. And so I looked at the Monarch wallet for that reason, because I knew that they had a way that you could set subscriptions. And if I'm selling a subscription and I'm going to follow up and provide that service to people, then, or maybe send out a newsletter or whatever, instead of getting paid in dollar, I could get paid in a crypto. Right. And there's Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these other things. You look at the slippage of the transaction, what, out of a $20 a month thing, how much does it cost you in fees in order to get that 20 bucks? But then you play the volatility game about whatever you're speculating on holding as far as that coin. But I got a lot more excited once connected Richard and Rob more deeply, and you can see how it's coming to fruition. Really cool,
dude. That's awesome, man. I mean,
that is awesome.
Is Monarch Wallets was one of the founding members like Crypto Beatles, or is he just or Crypto Love? I think his name.
Snaybot and Sam Capizzi brought the idea to Crypto Beatles, and they knew him because they used to have a channel in 16 that was called Cryptosomnia or Cryptosomniacs.
He's a cool guy. I met him.
Yeah,
I met Crypto Love or Crypto Beatles and stuff. He was pretty tall.
Crypto Love was Beatles' buddy, but I don't think he had anything to do with the Monarch wallet. He was sponsored. His channel was sponsored by the Monarch wallet.
Yeah. Well, Monarch sponsored a NASCAR car. And
then really?
Dragon Chain also sponsored a NASCAR car that same day, or the same car. So they had basically logos that were on that NASCAR car. Dragon Chain was one of them. Monarch was one of them. Crypto Love, the blonde guy from Florida, he was there. Crypto Crow. I mean, these were all people that were at that particular NASCAR event for maybe like 4 events. They sponsored, their branding on a NASCAR car. That was in 2015.
That's cool.
Yeah. There's a picture of all of them together too in the parking lot. Yeah.
And at Daytona.
Crypto Crow's a tall ass motherfucker. That fucker is 7 feet tall. He's huge, dude.
Really?
Joe, the guy from Dragon Chain looked like a tiny little, hobbit. The guy compared to I was like, holy crap, that guy's big.
Yeah. Crypto Crow's a cool person to. Yeah, I mean, I found out about Crypto Crow from just that Richard stream he did. Yeah. He got me on a couple cool coins and stuff, and really like cemented the Cardano thing in my head. Really, just watching some of the videos and some of the
It'd be a lot cooler if he'd stop trading, trying to become a trader, and he'd let everyone know about Hex.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of like, I don't
know. That's right. I said it,
Yeah.
Crypto Crow.
Well, it's funny because again, the trend is your friend until the end, and the trend for the past 10 years has been get in, pump it up, exit before the hopefully during a dump, right, and get out while everybody else suffers. And it's been this masochistic, sadistic kind of realm, really, and it's really not that much different than a lot of the stock market when you come to the broker level. If you're a broker, you're not trying to hurt your client, but you're hurting your client. You know that you're getting them involved with stuff. You're going to sell. You're going to make profit no matter what. Like I sort of believe a realtor when they're showing me a house, but I really don't. I know that their commission doesn't change that much. like, well, you're going to tell me anything I want to hear so that I buy this house, you know?
Right? Because
Yeah.
he needs that fucking commission because he probably
There's
hasn't
still a
sold a house
salesperson.
in a year.
There's still a
Yeah.
salesperson. It's funny you say that. I just finished up a 4-hour training for annuities today to keep my license. I needed some continuing education.
Yeah.
And it was coming down to the wire, so I decided, well, let's just refresh my abilities on annuities. And it's funny. I mean, there's a lot of the discussion in the learning modules is about ethics and not selling them something they don't need, because it's true. I'm going to make the same commission for the most part, whether it be a deferred annuity, a variable, a fixed annuity. It doesn't really matter to me, but it may not be the right situation for them. And it's
Right.
just like that with any salesperson, honestly.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe it, especially car guys. Like, no, you didn't go back to your manager, and this wasn't the best you could do. You sat in there and had a couple drinks of coffee with him, BSing about how you're gonna take this guy's head off on this one. So I don't play that game. I used to be a car guy, and I was like, man, you know what? I just don't play that game. Here's my price, whether it fits or not. I don't care if you have to talk to your manager, but you better come back within 10 minutes with my keys if not.
Have you seen this movie, Fargo? You know, the guy that's the dealer. He, you know, have you seen the movie Fargo? The Coen Brothers.
It's been a while.
You know, selling that what is it, the undercoating or whatever, selling the undercoating. He says, you know, he's so pissed. This guy's trying to buy a car. He's like, I'm so pissed. You just lied to me or whatever. He says, wait. Let me just check with my manager. I'll be right back. And he goes in. He's like, so what's the score on the game?
Yeah,
You know? I'll come
That's
back.
exactly the conversations that happen in the box, man, before they come back to, you know, I really went to bat for you, and this is the best we can do. No, you didn't. You guys just talked about what you guys were drinking once you guys get off and what bar you guys are going to meet at. Like, that's what you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know. I've been in the box before.
Discount on that undercoating.
Yeah, okay. I forgot about the undercoating. I wonder if there's any financial products that have undercoating I could sell.
Wasn't it like $500 to like spray Rust-Oleum on your car or some shit?
Rust-Oleum. That's all it really is. It's just the coat of Rust-Oleum.
Yeah.
My favorite's we need to add the clear coat to make your car more scratch resistant. Okay, sure.
Mhm. Yeah, because they don't do that at the
Factory. It just came from
Yep. Because they don't do that at the factory. Good looking out for me there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're
Well,
better
that's
off
what-
wrapping your car if you want.
Well, it's
if you
funny
want to protect
because
it.
this discussion right here is the metaphor for these junk peddlers in the crypto space on YouTube peddling all this junk. And yes, I know, Cabana, you like Chainlink, but yes, Peter the Great, if I were you, I'd sell all my Chainlink and I'd buy Hex with it. I think Chainlink's already hit it, maxed out at what it's going to do. And yes, I'd go all in on the Hex.
Yeah, I've got an opinion. I've got an opinion on Chainlink. Like, I think it's going to do well, but Chainlink and Compound, I just can't figure out which one is going to tank first. But these are like the two pins on the Django, you know, or whatever the Django thing is. When Chainlink goes, so many of these DeFi tokens are all linked to Chainlink. The minute there's a problem with Chainlink, holy shit, there's going to be some problems in DeFi. I mean, it's become the buzzword. Anyone that's a DeFi or like you have some decentralized token or something, you're like, our Oracle is Chainlink. So they're using the Chainlink as they're using Chainlink as like the buzzword. You see, you guys can trust us because Chainlink's oracles are behind us, and Chainlink's cool because you know Chainlink, because Chainlink Coinbase.
Yeah.
Did I mention Chainlink? Right, like. That's what's going on. And then Compound, obviously, and then Compound 2 is also using Chainlink. Or I'm like, dude, Chainlink is literally the fucking pin. If they figure out a way to smash that shit,
it's like stealing the Jenga. Like if you want to get higher in the Jenga tower, stealing the blocks underneath you and then putting them above you. So they are chain linked together. But you're pulling pins. You keep pulling them from underneath so that you can climb higher.
From what I know, like what Chainlink is basically it's Kayak essentially, where it's like you look at, like there's like a list of all these fucking like sites to get the best price, and it just randomly chooses an oracle for each transaction, and decentralized. That's all it is basically.
It's
You
a
have to-
narrative. Honestly,
Yeah.
everything is a narrative. These are all narratives, and
mean,
so you're not buying the actual token. Even you have an
Right,
entry
story.
on a laptop or entry on your cell phone, but it's a narrative that people.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I've discussed this already with some buddies of mine. Like, eventually, we'll be able to take loans out on NFTs. Not this cycle, but I think the next one, because they're gonna start coming out with more collateralized products, right? So I think maybe at the tail end of this bull market or the next one, we're gonna start getting like real estate tokens with actual real estate in them, where they're like, you have an investment property and there's 1,000 tokens and you can buy a little portion of it. I think that stuff's coming, and then from there it just starts
because ultimately, again, I've heard about this translation into real world. Like you're like decentralized art. Like you want to have a small percentage of the Mona Lisa, right? You want to be one of 10 million people that owns a token that is the Mona Lisa. Well, here's a newsflash: it's not the Mona Lisa.
Mhm.
You can come and grab that and take it home, right? Same thing with your shared ownership of a commercial building, and now we have 10 million token owners that own a commercial building. Well, it gets down to law, and law is insurance claims and government. It's not token rights. So the idea of token rights, actually, if you're going to say speculatively, then fine. Just like any other narrative, you can speculate and your token price might go up. It probably will. The price will go up. And that $10 million building may be on paper worth $20 million until someone has to buy it. Who's going to buy it? Is it another token buyer that buys your token and now is a replacement of your share in the building? But
liquidity
who
pools
also shares in the liability? Because someone dies inside of an apartment building from a slip and fall or from PGE gas explosion or whatever it is. Who is liable for that token? You, because you're a token owner, like a building owner. So some of the stuff about the translation into the real world still deals with the fact that these are tangible items under the rule of government and the natives that surround the property itself.
Right. I mean, what I'm just trying to say. Yeah, you're totally right about all that. Like, but what I'm trying to say is the reason these products are going to be made before they're gonna put a nice spin on it. They're gonna borrow what Uniswap did and create these pools. Synthetics is already doing it right now, where you have a gigantic pool of Ethereum that you can trade against. So even if it's a liquid market, let's just say the market's only $1,000, you could just sell all $1,000 and get your cash out. You know what I mean? So what this is going to be used is for end game, sort of like, how do I have these 1,000 art pieces that I bought. How the fuck can I sell these things without crashing the market? Oh, I can put them on this app right here and cash myself out. Or I take a loan on these things, take 50% LTV on them, get out. Let them go to zero. I don't give a fuck. Like that's sort of the end game sort of stuff that ends up happening. Like, okay, I can't dump all these tokens I have on the OTC market or these, like, because like, I'm just thinking of NFTs and stuff, because like you basically, at least if you have a lot of like of these NFTs and stuff, you really can't sell them on the market because you'll crash the prices, right? And so if you want to make a large sale, you have to do OTC sales with like a larger investor. But then from there, what happens if it's saturated and you can't find an investor? Then from there, people can be like, I can't sell this piece of real estate because no one wants to buy it. Know this? How the fuck do I wrap it up in a nice little wrapper? I'll digitize it.
It becomes the credit default swap of
exactly.
Tomorrow. It becomes basically a derivative of a derivative. And I would love to have a share of the Sistine Chapel and look up and see Adam and God touching fingers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the Pope wants that, and maybe the Vatican wants that, and maybe they would sell a token. But it really comes down to that same sort of thing. What we were talking about there before, the petrodollar. That's basically saying, here's a token that is our future oil production. So do I trust the government that's going to actually deliver on a token holder's promise? I promised the token holder I was going to deliver oil. Fuck that guy. That's not how it's going to work.
Right.
Yeah. So you can sell a narrative, just like I can sell you the what is it, the bridge in New York or whatever. You can buy that bridge. Yeah. I can sell it to
people.
You.
Yeah, people in Green Bay think that they own 1/50th of 50,000th of the Green Bay Packers. But like, that does not need. And there was actually some they've done like 3 different over the years vesting periods where you can buy into the Packers and own a share of them. They did one in 2016 or 2011, I think, and they don't give you. They get like rights to vote on some committee council people or something, maybe. But like, get out of here. It says you don't get any profit. You don't get anything. Don't ever expect anything.
You're not getting a
Yeah.
raise off what you paid
Do they
into
even
the fund.
do they even pay a fucking dividend?
No.
Oh my
absolutely
God,
not.
dude.
No, it's complete. It's completely.
Before the Central Land, you can still right now buy a place on the moon. You can buy. There's an organization. They've got millions of dollars. They'll sell you a certificate that has a little gold badge on it that tells you exactly what part of the moon that you now own.
Yeah, you own an acre of land over here in the moon.
You want to buy an asteroid?
Yeah. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
I want to buy the one with all the gold on it.
Can you imagine somebody starts like eventually in the future, like my great grandfather, he bought this asteroid, and we have mineral rights on that asteroid now.
Yeah.
I've got the paper right here.
Dude.
Scholastic School said I own this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are definitely going to be space pirates because no one's going to give a damn if you own the rights to the asteroid. Sorry.
No.
It's like the people that put so a lot of people, like in history when I was a kid, they used to talk about how stupid Russia was to sell Alaska to the United States, how dumb that was, how much resources, how much things were there. But it really was the fact that they just had put a flag on it and they said it's ours. But if you can't defend it against incursion, war, conflict, if you can't put forts on it, then it's not really yours. And it comes down to the same thing in any kind of government, any kind of society, or whatever. Revolutions happen. These things happen. I do like consensus, and I do like agreement on value, and I do want price go up. But some of these things are kind of foolish too. It's like, okay, I've got 3 bricks in the Transamerica building in San Francisco. Like, what am I gonna do with that?
And this is crazy shit. Right now, we're in the rational part of the cycle of the market right now. This is the rational side. We're hearing all this fuck shit. Like right now, we're in like it's going up. The prices are going up a little bit. We're still on a fucking full like FOMO mode. And like last cycle and shit, what was it? Porn coin, pot coin.
Oh yeah,
like
money
all
coin.
kinds of money coin, dude. The fuckery that's gonna come out in these next when we hit the peak of the cycles, dude. They'll sell you the
like balls. No, it was like balls coin or something like that. I forgot what it was.
No. My favorite was UET, which was useless Ethereum token, and the guy made a website that was like, "Don't buy this token. If you do, I'm literally gonna go spend the money on like some TVs and computers and shit. So like, don't do it." And like that cat still made like $80,000 in Ethereum that went. I mean, the website looked slick, but like it literally was like, "This is a useless token. Please do not put any money in here."
I like that. That's cool.
I forgot this one guy made a joke. He made an ICO page with he put imagine this right here. This is my team right here. You know, here's our the four main people of the team. He made a different picture of himself in each portion. So one port he's got his hair down, the next one's got it up in a bun, another one he's wearing a hat, and he did this whole ICO pitch and stuff and everything. It was all fake. You could tell it's fake, right? He still had over $1 million sent to the ICO website. He sent all the money back, and he just made a gigantic article about it. Dude, that shit is so fucking funny, dude.
That is hilarious.
I can't remember the name of it. I was just trying to Google it real quick, but it was something like Big Balls coin. And it was something like you had, in order to buy Big Balls coin, you had to prove, not prove, but you were saying to the world that you have big balls because you now have bought this coin. And so, of course, the longer that you're in that coin, the bigger your balls must be. It was ridiculous. Like people were buying. I was like, "Are you kidding me? People are buying Big Balls coin."
I mean, the stuff that people are buying, the stuff that I already am starting to see people buy right now. There's a few tokens that I've seen their websites, and you're like, that doesn't. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting weird 2017 vibes here.
But do you know why? So the people who buy earlier before the real ramp up is there's probably still the same amount of shitty tokens out. But the thing is, you have more time to do research, and you're not in this manic mind where you're like, oh fuck. If I don't buy this right now, it's gonna fucking launch on me, and I can't make any money. So now it's like calm, right? I mean, like you're able to like look at a project and like, no, bullshit. Oh, there's a chance here. Okay, I'll throw some money in this one. You know, right? And then you have time to think, and then you have more time to think, and you know the process, and there's more people behind the thinking, like, yeah, this thing could launch, and then the coins launched during the bear market are actually the ones that actually make most of the gains, like the legit gains, and it's the ones that are made like Verge or something right on 2017 or some shit, where like they're you know. There is some tokens that were made in Chainlink was made in 2017, but the thing is, it's like nobody even knew about it. But it's like, what is that, like 1 of 1,000? You know.
I remember. What's the name? What's that guy from California? The influencer that's growing his hair out like crazy. Oh, what's his name?
Chico Crypto.
Chico Crypto. Yeah, so he was
Chico Crypto
like crazy a lot of times. Tons.
He's excitable.
He is. He is. He's a big Chainlink. His big one right now is what, Energy Web or something like that, and it's loose affiliation to giving free product away to Tesla. I'm like, come on, dude. Those are some really light lines you're trying to draw between the two there. But he always has something nasty to say to me, but I always spam his comments with, I agree, Hex is the best performing asset of 2020 or something. And I said, or he'll like his message, his one today, I can't remember what it was, and I said with the sound, you know, in English, and saying, and Hex outperformed all of those in 2020, including that shitcoin Bitcoin. And so he always has something to say to my comments because I'm always trolling him.
Yeah. I like the Ivan today with y'all talk about that already. That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome.
With that, that was awesome. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was like, these whales, new whales in the ecosystem now.
Yep.
Yep. That's what I was. I mean, it's very hard to argue with money being spent. I mean, that's how you get free speech now, is you yell really loud and pay a lot for it.
Yep. So I love our community. There's a guy in Telegram that said, can I please get any insights, please, from admin or anyone else deeply involved in Hex on thoughts on the recent pump and the fact we are virtually at old highs on less volume? Cheers. And Firebun posts a picture of the astronaut with the Hex flag on the moon. And it says, moon incoming. Hope that helps. I love our community, man.
I think it's really big about the hex.com. I mean, a lot of people are discounting and they're saying, oh, we're so familiar with .io and .live and, you know, .xyz or whatever.
Yeah,
but
we are.
At least people that are looking at a crypto, an official, like even last night when RG3 was saying about, you know, official website, you know, you don't go to Chase Bank .io xyz whatever. You don't do that. You don't go to Wells Fargo whatever, right? It's .com. These are .coms. These are still, you know, I wouldn't even say that they're legacy, but they're the normal, that even people that don't interact with the internet, that's the first thing that they think of is .com.
Did we make the guess, the prediction yet on, or the whatever, we may never know, but how much it costs for
at least 100 grand plus.
Yeah, definitely. But that was a smart move.
I thought it was more than that. I thought that like initially the offer to like that if you like wanted to go buy it was like over $1 million or something like that they wanted.
There's a Twitter guy who was bitching. He was saying that he was waiting on a back list, like, you know, like you can basically have brokers try to always do a tickler and say, hey, are you ready to sell? Are you ready to sell? And I think there's like whole websites about that. And he'd been waiting 10 years to try and buy hex.com. And then I kind of snarked him a little bit. Says, well, you know, if you had more money, you could do it. Or if you had bought in December, you might have done it.
Yeah, you're going to be waiting another, you know, my stakes are long, so he's going to be waiting a while for that one.
We should have seen it coming, actually. I thought about it, not this week, but I've thought about it like 3 or 4 months ago. And it was mostly when Richard was railing in one particular rant, and it was about, you know, why does the Bitcoin people not control Bitcoin.com? You know, it's the stupidest thing in the world. You know, why would you not be able to control your brand? And so like back then I was like, oh yeah, I mean, like hex.com, that makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't he have hex.com? Well, maybe that's coming. And then I just kind of tucked it away because I wasn't in a position to buy hex.com.
Yeah, it's a big deal for no coiners because .com is
Yeah.
everything. People don't, unless you've been playing in the crypto swamp since 2017, you don't understand what .io and .win and all the, especially the .io.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what that is.
I think hex.com back in the day, like early 2000s, maybe like 1989, it was a witchcraft fucking website. I think. Remember right?
Even the billboards that we talked about, the British billboards, they had to say www.hex.win. They had to, because most people wouldn't put together hex.win as a website. They wouldn't even think of it as a URL. Most people. So hex.win, like, what's that mean? I mean, is that like a new language that the kids are talking about? I wouldn't have outside of crypto have thought that's a website. So www had to be there. But now with hex.com, I mean, it's like so obvious. Oh, that's a website. I should go check that out. Yeah.
You guys want to hear some moon math?
Want to hear some what?
Some moon math on hex.
Yeah.
Well,
So
why
let's just
not?
all right. Let's just say you have 100,000 hex stake that comes undone in 2 years, right? And so for my guesstimate, that's going to pay you out roughly like 350,000 hex, right? If the price is 55 cents at that point and you cash that out, that's like $192,000 off of one stake. There you go.
And then, some people like Randy Halewski talked about paying his rent for the next 2 years. I'll just be knee deep in Reese's.
That's right. In your crop.
I have all the peanut butter.
Yeah, that's pretty
NMN,
awesome. I like that. I like that math.
Well, 100,000 hex being effectively $190,000.
Yeah.
What was your prediction? Was it what was it, year? 2 years? What was
that was after 2 years. That was a 2 year stake.
That's a 2 year stake. Yeah. The math.
Yeah. The math. It's pretty good. Even if it's a quarter, I mean, you're still looking at over 100 G's.
So for OGs, this would be nice to ask the chat rooms or whomever, anybody that's basically been in crypto for more than 2 years. I mean, like they got in before the bull at the peak, right? And they're still around talking about it. So I hear all of these things about how long a cycle will be, how long a cycle has trended. Back when BTC was this, there used to be a window of a rise and then a fall and so forth, and then Ethereum. And then so forth, it became, kind of top 10 coins and so forth. So the cycles are tighter together or farther apart. I've heard farther apart and I've seen farther apart. And then the highs or the bulls being longer in duration. That's been something talked about earlier in this stream. What do you think about staking ladders? A lot of us talk about staking more early and less out so that you have a consistent amount of hex coming out because of the compounding effect. So you might have a weighted more recently, more hex staked because that value may be equivalent to longer stake that has less hex, right? So that kind of ramp. And a lot of people also, they say, oh, I'll put more of my gains so I can make up for it. I become a dolphin or I can become a whale or whatever, because I'll put more weight further out in time. I'm a younger person. I'm 18, I'm 25, or I'm 30, and I can wait 15 years, right, for that big juicy payout in my 40s or whatever. So people are looking at it in different ways. What do you think about any kind of attempt to look at the overall crypto market cycles and say, is it a roller coaster that you should have a higher early because we're entering into a bull phase possibly, and you have more and coming out and able to capture that and sell out, I guess, and then like a roller coaster dip, like you go up and then down and then up and then down, like the trend has been of Bitcoin being promoted that it does that. What do you think? You think that's self-fulfilling, or you think that's real about?
Litecoin and I have talked about this before, where a lot of people are doing their, the stake to have the larger stakes up front, smaller stakes towards the end because of that compounding effect. But we've talked about that. But most people, I think, have who knows what the bull cycles are going to do going forward. but everyone was trying to do 4 years from when they were getting their hex.
Yeah.
But a lot, and because they knew that this year was the year that Bitcoin did its halving. But the problem with that is that most of the bull runs happen about a year and a half after the halving happened. So a lot of people have their
5 or
stakes.
6.
Yeah, they have their stakes. If they're doing their stakes based on the market cycles, then they have them expiring at the wrong time. And I think it's going to be harder and harder and harder to dictate, to time when these market cycles are going to happen, because it doesn't follow the rules it used to, as Richard said in his streams.
Yeah, that's a part of me that, like, even though that, like, I can still justify wanting to have like monthly or close to bi-monthly stakes, coming undone, because I mean, when Bitcoin hit its top in 2017, I mean, the majority of that last 25% move was over like a 11-day period of time. Like, I mean, it was a very short period of time. So like catching that actual top it's just like getting in the adoption amplifier. Like we were talking about on Cabana's show, I saw everyone talking about like when who got in at that very bottom day, and like, I mean, that's how would you time that? How would so like, if it's difficult to do that with your stakes, so why not have some available at any point in time? Even though I got in for a half ETH on that day, it still feels awesome. I'm still like, heck yeah, so even if you can sell 2% of your stack on that day, or on that during that highest part, that's
well, it becomes a little bit Nostradamus, because you can always say, "Oh, I sold at the top."
Yeah, exactly.
You have to take
Right.
1% of your stack.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But even if you can only catch like 2 stakes, correct, and then cash those out, as long as you're buying the bottoms, all you got to do is say like 80% down or 60% and start laddering back in, you end up with more hex. That you'll probably 5x your hex you originally sold, and then you've gained in shares essentially once you stake it out. So that's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice position to be in, if you know. But that takes experience too, and being in the market for a while. And like that's why the average person, when they come into the market during the all-time highs, they don't know what they're doing, because they haven't had enough time in the market to kind of understand what's going on. And this is only like the second market cycle I've gone through. So it's like it's by the time I'm on my 4th one, I'm gonna have pretty much the equation down by then.
Yeah, and part of it is also understanding that asset class values change. Right. So real estate might be on a decline, or stocks might be on a rise, or metals might be a different price point, because these are different asset classes. Derivatives and banking products, those are different as well. So
yeah,
that's what's so crazy about like the maxi mindset, is that I've learned that like the market like dictates how things are going to go, and like you're not going to put it in a box. You're going to have to find the opportunities in that, and like that's not always going to be what you want it to be. So like your prized possession Bitcoin might not be the next biggest pumping asset in this cycle, and you have to be okay to that and willing to look around.
Well, guys, we're at 2 hours here. I'm gonna go ahead and look at bringing this stream down. Any last thoughts anyone wants to bring up?
If 3,000 people buy $2,000 worth of hex, it's $6 million. Let's pump this motherfucker.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Something about some $100 worth or 1 Ethereum worth. Is that what you got?
Day 300. Everybody
Day 300
put in 1 ETH worth of buy on version 2 now. It used to be version 1, but version 2 of Uniswap, which is, and I had that all figured out. I got to double look at that again. I think it's September 7th, which is on Sunday, because it turns over to the 300-day Saturday night, and that's in the United States, guys. So
is there a time hack on that? Is there a UTC on that? Is it like when everybody in the town flushes the toilet at the same time?
Right.
I mean, who cares about the time hack? If you put a time on it, someone's going to front run it anyway. So
I guarantee someone will. I am up to it as soon as it turns over. At the very beginning of day 300. You guys better not beat me to it. You guys better not pay more in gas fees to make it.
Gas fees are ridiculous. I so want to have like ZK Sync or something like that because I hardly want to do anything until the stake route comes out.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think it is smart long term just to leave an Ethereum in there for gas fees.
I
For
do.
I think one Ethereum will last you a cycle. I think it should last you a cycle.
If you got daily stakes coming out like Hex Jesus over here.
I'm liquid, baby. Shit, call me Liquid Moses.
You know. Actually, if anybody's watching, I know that there's been a little bit of time between like the people that got hurt recently in other projects or whatever. But I would really like to see some of these people come back, whether they're in here or not. But like I miss Ryan Lopez. I like that guy. I thought he was a really good commentator. I know that like Omar was polite in some ways, a lot of ways, and he explained a lot of things. And there was this stress between good texture and so forth. I don't think these are bad people at all. I think that they're people just like all of us. So if there's anything that can bring these people back, I would love to see them contribute in these kinds of meetings.
Yeah.
I think what's his name? I think Ryan's still doing streams, but in Spanish.
Yeah.
I need to go on there. Like, ¿Qué pasa, compadre? Vente para atrás.
Yeah.
Vente para atrás. No te vamos a atacar anymore. Don't worry. We're not attacking you, bro.
Well, I appreciate you Hexoricans showing up here on our stream tonight.
Oh yeah, we need him. Well, before I get blown away, man, there's quite a storm out here, man. It's
good surf. It's great surf.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went on a hike today, and I was about like a half mile into my hike, and it just started pouring on me. So I was like, all right, I'm hiking out of here. I hiked out, and as soon as I got back to my car, it's like sunny, and I was like, ah.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. Well, I appreciate you guys showing up. Everybody watching, don't miss us on Friday for the FN Hangout. And in the meantime, we'll see you Hexicans later.
Don't forget to stake.